Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call tonight's meeting to order. Today is the 28th of August, 2012. It's Tuesday. We're at the Village Boardroom for a Village Board meeting and also a Committee of the Whole meeting. First item is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, Mrs. Booth. How are you today? Good. Could you please call the roll?
Present. Present.
Present.
Present.
Present. We do have a quorum. Do we have any presentations this evening? No. Nothing? Public comments. Anyone wish to approach the board with a public comment?
I do.
Okay. You introduce yourself for our clerk.
Absolutely.
And fire away.
My name is Marianne Ikabazi. I live at 1646 Mayfair for 45 years. I've never had a problem. I was young when I moved here. I was in my 40s. I'm pushing 90 now. So I feel the law regarding the garbage cans to be put out after 7 in the evening is a hardship to the seniors who are still living here, and there's many of us. I mean, would you ask your mother, your grandmother, to pull that green monster over snow and ice? You know what long driveways we have? Because someone in my block next door to me doesn't want the cans out there before 7 o'clock. The village has been very considerate. Because I get home 3, 4 o'clock, there's at least 10 garbage cans out. And it's great. I mean, you understand that we can't bring them out at 7 o'clock at night. When Westchester was young, it was feasible, but I don't think it's feasible anymore. So I'm here to complain.
I don't believe that the police department or the code enforcers are that stringent on the time.
Not at all, but I have a neighbor next door.
And what's the neighbor doing?
Well, do you remember, I'm the gal that has lived up to now, about 7 years next door to the auto repair shop on Mayfair. Do you recall that?
Okay, I'm not.
Oh, well, Westchester finally chased him out. He was repairing all the cars in the driveway.
Okay.
Okay, and they never bothered me. I mean, I'm just not a complainer. If this goes over a fence, I think the code men know what I'm talking about. They had built a fence originally on my property,
Okay.
and they had to move it. So that makes me a bitchy old lady. So, anyway.
Let me ask you this.
The problem is, she called and complained. The village has been very lenient and understanding, but she's not. I don't want you to make an exception just for me. But I asked my friends. Well, they said they just put them out early. Well, I don't have that privilege anymore.
Oh, I see. She called and indicated
She's
that
gonna
you're.
call every week.
I got
if
it.
I do that,
Okay.
she's gonna call
So
every
you're
week.
basically asking that we consider maybe changing the out time to a little bit earlier to accommodate you.
Updating it, yes.
I got it.
Maybe 3, 4 o'clock. We have our jammies on at 7 o'clock in the middle of winter anyway. You know, but that's a long driveway. Those houses north of Cermak Road, they're narrow and long.
Mhm.
They get packed with snow and ice. It's a dangerous thing to do, for me to do too.
We'll certainly take it into consideration.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
It'd be great. Thank you, dear.
And I'm putting it out next week. I bet you I get another notice.
We'll work on that. Quite welcome. Anyone else?
Good evening. My name is Mary Backus. I'm here as the Secretary of the Westchester Chamber of Commerce, and all I want to do is invite the trustees and the board here to our multi-community and business expo that we're having on September 20th. So we are doing a combination with Hillside Berkeley Chambers. We have 30 businesses that will be attending this event. Most of them are Westchester businesses. So I'm hoping to see a lot of trustees and this board out there to help support our businesses in town. So I just have some invites. There will be food and refreshments as well. Thank you very much.
And the date again, Mayor?
September 20th, 5 to 7 p.m.
Is that a Saturday?
No, it's actually a Thursday. Yeah. So thank you very much.
Anyone else? Okay, I don't think we have any public hearings today. Item number 7 in the consent agenda. Does any board person wish to have anything gone over outside of the consent agenda? Oh, I'm sorry, B.
Just an item G we approved at the last meeting. We added Sherby to the approval.
I didn't swear her in. I think that's what was what we approved.
We
it
didn't swear
last
in.
week.
I'm just saying we don't need to vote on it again. I don't think.
Okay. Okay, so I think we could remove item number G. That's the request? We can just do the swearing in. Okay, anything else? If not, is there a motion and a second to approve items A through F with the exclusion of G, as we approved that last time?
So moved.
Second.
Brian and Paul? Roll call, please.
Mr. Vittuso?
Aye.
Mr. Novak?
Aye.
Mr. Sloan?
Aye.
Mr. Yurcheck?
Aye.
Mr. Polya?
Aye, motion carries. Okay. Well, why don't I swear in Sherby now? What do you think? Take leave to do that? For those who don't know Sherby Miller, she comes to us from our ethics committee. We needed a couple people from our ethics committee to be on our zoning board of appeals. So, there. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Support the Constitution of the United States. Constitution of the State of Ohio. The laws and ordinances of the village of Westchester. As they pertain to a zoning board of appeals commission.
As they pertain to a zoning board of appeals
To the best of your ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help you God. There's a requirement that the new commission, that you have 90 days to complete the Open Meetings Act training online. So I'm going to get you that information. It's fairly simple to do. As a member, you're required, all of us have to do it within a year, but however, any new members, after January, you have 90 days. It's basic in how to run meetings and stuff. So, constitute that. Okay, congratulations. Congratulations. Item number 8 on our active agenda, resolution approving the 2012 street improvement bid. Is there any information coming forward with that? Before we vote, we
The
all set?
trustees were provided the bid tabulation is included in here, I believe. Oh, it's a sample contract. Oh, no. Dave, do you have a copy of the bid tabulation? I believe that was communicated,
Talking about the Christopher Burke.
Christopher Burke?
bill.
No, I'm not
Yeah, it's
seeing
in
it.
it's in the packet here.
Oh, it's in here, okay.
Yeah.
So Triggy Construction. Yeah, okay. Triggy Construction was the lowest responsible bidder, and that's what's being recommended by, to the board, is our successful bidder.
And as I understand it, there are 5 streets that are going to be completed out of the engineered streets of 9. I believe Bond Street needed a little bit more engineering, and apparently the last time we did Bond from, I think, Portsmouth to Gardner Road, we actually widened it a foot. Is that not correct?
That is correct, yes.
And-
Correct.
and we have to certainly make one side match the other side, and that may have not have been conveyed in the original engineering, so I know that one's gonna cost a little bit more money to do. Is that not correct, Dave?
That's correct. We've got a concrete base on that street, which is gonna require base removal and replacement.
Well, I mean, certainly we want to get the 5 streets that we planned on getting done. I think everyone knows my feeling that I want to get all 9 of them done that are engineered. And I would think that as soon as we complete these ones, the 5 that are in the hopper, that the 2 streets that were residential streets that were not done of the 9 be the first ones up for next year, as they're already engineered. So Bond and I think Hull Street were the 2, and then the other ones were in the industrial park, and I know one of those streets certainly needs a water main underneath of it for the amount of breaks that we have, and the last thing we want to do is replace a street and have to dig it up to put water mains. So that in the industrial area. So let it be known that the 5 that will be done under this contract, which is a great thing, but the last 2 that weren't on that need to be earmarked. Obviously, money available at the most opportune time, hopefully next year. So I think we're pretty much in agreement with that. Wally?
Yeah, I just, again, this is we're gonna fund this through, is this current, I guess, what is the timetable on these streets getting done?
These
My
streets here.
My concern is on taking money out of the reserve.
Yeah, these 5 streets are to be done before Thanksgiving. Is that not correct?
That is correct.
So, that was a timetable.
Okay.
So, okay. And the low bidder again was Triggy at $1,301,712.25. I have to comment that it looks like quite a healthy number of bidders for this. I'm not sure how many were in the past, but it seemed to be some quite hungry companies out there wishing to do the work in this community. Yeah, Wally.
Just one more question. Moving forward, can we also bid out, we're talking about bonding out and I can't remember the timetable on that, but if you got hungry bidders out here, can we bid out with other streets with the intent of, if we get the funds, if not, we don't complete the bid?
Well, right now,
Or once we bid out, are we liable to perform the work? Do you see what I'm saying? If it seems
You
like
can reject the bids.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
Because I'm wondering, we got all these bidders out, and it looks like it's, see if, we'll roll the dice and see if we get the.
well, what we have right now, say these 5 get done. So there's 4 in the hopper. 2 of them are the residential. 2 of them will set those industrial aside for a moment. I think that this board should be in the vein, which I wanted to do this past summer, of looking at the next set of engineering plans for the next number of streets, whether it's 10, 15, 20, 25, whatever it is. So we always have something in the plan, engineering, that we're not waiting for, that we're bidding and then holding it because we don't have the engineering done to get those done. Now, we have at least 2 streets that are residential streets that are already engineered, but with the additional work that may be required on Bond Street to get that done, because that's another horrible street, that we should be in a frame of mind that every year we're chipping away at the list and adding to the list as we take off the list. I'd rather not be in a position like we have in the past that no engineering was done, and in case monies come available, that we're not prepared. We should always be prepared in an engineering vein for several streets to get done, to keep this plan moving. So eventually we'll have all of our streets done. So I know that's pretty much what our plan should be.
And also, even for that, Wally, if we get them together and bid them out in December, if we start doing it then, we get some great pricing. The guys are hungry, they want that first job right out in in April, so they're really, really, competitive bids are really good at that time.
Now, what we can do is certainly go out to bid, and this is just commentary, for the next two bond in Hull in December at the least. Now, I think we want more in the game there, and I would suggest to this board dollars available to start doing some engineering on another half dozen streets.
Right.
So we have something to pick from. Now, with that being said, and I'll jump ahead just momentarily, I was with the governor the other day, and Westchester got an additional $73,000 out of the transportation bill. I was with mayors from Berwyn and Cicero and Aurora, Joliet, and whatever, and Westchester was one of the 9 streets listed that he was reading off the list. In fact, I have his list for $73,061, and I would imagine that that's formulated off some type of population assessment based on what else, the other towns that I'm seeing here. But at least we're earmarked for that. Now, when are we going to get that? I don't know. But that's $73,000 that we might possibly be able to use to do the engineering. So, and this is newfound money that we were lucky to get. Let's leave it at that. So, but the question is when. But that's my suggestion, that we keep moving along with our engineer. Now we have an in-house engineer as well as our village engineer in Dave that certainly could assist in putting these plans together, and maybe because of the expertise that Dave has in doing these streets as well, that we can save a few bucks and get a few more engineered. I mean, that's another possibility, is from my conversations with Dave and his hiring and my conversations across the coffee table in Public Works, is that he has the ability to do some of this engineering feat that we can save money in-house, like we have been doing for the last couple of weeks with a host of projects that we've been expending less money, even the $10,000 we saved in doing the concrete by the pumps today. And we expended a little bit with some expertise in the finishing, but our guys dug it, got rid of it at no cost. All the concrete was taken to Allied asphalt, and we didn't have any dumpster charges. So, I mean, we are saving money and we are doing things in-house, and I would suggest that Dave, with his expertise, certainly be able to work with any of the engineers that we have in a collaborative way to get the engineering done. So that would be my suggestion, and I think that's the role that we should play. Yeah, right.
What was the cost of the engineering for these streets included in this bid?
The old engineering, I don't have that off the top of my head. Is it in any of the documents, Dave?
No, I don't have that figure either, so I'm sorry.
Old engineering, so we have additional engineering aside from project engineering coming?
No, these were already engineered for the design. The construction engineering is this piece here. So I know there's 2 streets.
So
if
what's the
correct.
cost of the engineering that's involved here? This $1.3 million is the cost of the construction.
I don't have that in front of me.
Are you talking about the engineering we paid to come up with the $1.6 million that was originally in the estimate, or are you
That plus the oversight, the construction, so the design and the construction, those are components of this project.
Yeah, that I don't have in front of me.
Yeah, I think it's just a bid.
That was previously approved. So we did it before.
Yeah, come on, step up, introduce yourself.
I'm Chris Faust. I'm with Christopher Burke Engineering. I'm actually the construction engineer. I actually worked on last year's street project with you guys. My office gave me the numbers regarding the construction engineering, which will be the oversight of the actual construction for this job. in our proposal to the village, and that was about, I believe, 56, excuse me one second. The total engineering for both our portion of the design, or redesign, I guess, as you could call it, and the construction engineering is the $106,460. That's about $20,000 for the redesign, and then about $80,000 total for the oversight of the construction.
So that goes on top of the $1.3 million?
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Chris. You're subbing in for Mark tonight? Okay. Okay. That being said, is there a motion and a second to approve the resolution of to 2012 improvement bid?
So moved.
Paul, second by
Second.
Wally. Kathy, please call the roll.
Mr. Novak?
No.
Mr. Sloan?
No.
Mr. Yurkovich?
Aye.
Mr. Vituzzo?
Aye.
Mr. Polio?
Aye. Motion carries. Item number 8B, resolution approving the agreement between the Village of Westchester and the Westchester Professional Firefighters International. Any additional discussion on anything? Let's put a motion in a second to approve, and then we'll go into
So-
discussion. Motion
so
to
moved.
approve, Wally?
Second.
Tommy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, discussion.
I thought we had some disciplinary changes in this contract, what we talked about. I don't know what we could bring up because it was an exec session, so.
We do have the right to go into executive session to discuss this.
Is that any of the pleasure of the board to do that this evening?
Or
I
can
would
we
like-
discuss it in open, or should this be in closed session?
You can discuss it in open, but you can also discuss it in closed session. I'm offering that to you.
Whichever would be
Pleasure of the
more-
board.
Whichever would be more appropriate.
I think it would be appropriate in executive session.
Need a motion then to go into executive session.
Do we want to go now, or do you want to go at the end? We can table it and go in the end? What would be the proper way to
what
handle
else?
it?
This is the end.
This is essentially the end of the meeting.
Well, I'm
other
saying,
than
we're going to get
reports.
through generally we do the executive session after the cow. So then we can come back out, and it's up to the board how we want to do it.
Well,
Then we
why
can't
don't go-
ratify this
why don't we go
contract
into the
tonight?
We'd have to
exec session now?
adjourn.
And then come back in and whatever.
You'd have to recess only at
Yeah.
that point in
Yeah.
time.
You want
My
to
suggestion
recess,
is
do
you
a
should
cow,
go
and then
into-
come back?
No, I
I'd
think
say
you
we
should
just-
recess now,
Yeah.
go into
Yeah.
executive session and come back and
Talk about it.
deal with it.
Okay, so is there a motion and a
So moved.
second to recess into executive session to discuss
For
this?
collective bargaining.
For collective bargaining.
So moved.
Tommy?
Second.
Wally? Roll call?
Mr. Novak?
Aye.
Mr. Sloan?
Aye.
Mr. Yurkovich?
Aye.
Mr. Vituzzo?
Aye.
Mr. Polio?
Aye. Motion carries. We'll recess into executive session.
Would you like Chief Adams to attend?
Yes, that's appropriate.
Want the chief?
Yes, please. Ladies and gentlemen, we will return promptly. And I'm calling the meeting back to order. Again, this is our board meeting of August 28th, 2012. And it looks like it's about 5 minutes after 8. Okay, item number B, resolution approving an agreement between the village and the Firefighters Association. I believe there was a motion on the floor for acceptance by Wally and Tommy. Is that not correct?
I believe so.
So, yes.
Yep.
Okay. Is there any other discussion? If not, Call the roll.
Mr. Sloan?
Aye.
Mr. Yurkovich?
Aye.
Mr. Gattuso?
Aye.
Mr. Novak?
Aye.
Mr. Julian?
No. Motion passes. Item number 9, Manager's Report.
Okay, just a couple things to note this evening. Just a reminder that the Village Hall offices will be closed on Monday, September 3rd in observance of Labor Day. Want to just save the date for September 7th, Friday evening, 5 to 9, the back-to-school picnic hosted by the Park District at Mayfair Park. September 8th, we will be having a dedication of the Memorial Fountain at the corner of Mannheim and Cermak at 1 p.m. Also, just want to let everybody know we have hired a new community development director who will be starting on September 17th. And that's all I have to report tonight.
Okay, Mr. Attorney, any reports, sir?
Nothing for open session.
Board members, Wally, anything in the Green Committee?
Actually, yes. This relays a little bit into the Green Committee. I attended last night the Library Board meeting, and a gentleman, Tom Price, I believe, was giving a talk. The library is doing a green initiative about, and Timothy, if I'm getting this wrong, please tell me, a porous driveway. And I don't know the whole scope of it, but talking to Tom, there may be some initiatives out there for streets. So I would like to relay information to the village manager and the board to discuss with him about grant funding. There's some very favorable, it sounds like favorable dollars for the driveway incentive at the library. So it was actually a very good conversation. I think the library board had some great questions. Fidencio there did a great job, and it was fun being in the audience for once and looking at Mr. Hinsdale instead of the other way around. But so it's nice to see other governments getting involved in the green initiatives. The September 15th, just a reminder, is going to be the e-recycling. And, that's the third week it's been moved. Just as a reminder, I don't have anything else.
Wally, I'll follow up with you. At the meeting I had with the governor and Mayor Bob Lavero from Berwyn, your hometown.
Yes, I know.
They did a permeable parking lot. I don't believe it was pavers. It was some type of concrete work. So I would maybe reach out to your hometown there and see if what was involved in that with their village manager and find out some information. I believe and it may have been from grant funding as well. So, Tomas, anything in the cab?
Our next meeting will be September 12th at 7, and Eric Keeley from the Green Committee actually is going to be making a presentation for us about green initiatives. It's going to be about 20 minutes long, so if anybody would like to come out, it'll be at 7 o'clock in the community room.
Okay. Paulie, anything?
September 20th, in the parking lot by the Paul's Pizza, we have a concert scheduled for, I think it's, I gotta remember the name of the band. It's
The Beatles.
no, I wish it was.
Symphony number one.
I remember. Similar to it. It's a 60s, 70s band,
No country, right?
and, no country rock. It's a 60s, 70s band. They'll go on about 7 o'clock and play till about 9:30.
Yeah.
So we got something coming up, so if everybody would come on over, bring your lawn chairs, sit down and listen to some good music.
September 20th, correct?
September 20th,
What day of the week is that?
Thursday night.
Brian, I know you've been working hard with the Proviso Township Mental Health Commission, and it looks like we approved the intergovernmental agreement with the Care Track process.
We
Is
did.
there any update on some timing?
No, that basically opens the door for us to, really start marketing it with the Care Track representative. In the past, we obviously weren't going to push forward with it because we didn't have the agreement approved yet. So now we'll start working with some of the other organizations with the Aging Well, the Aspire, and some of the other services that are provided for the disabled. So,
Great.
We'll keep you updated next time around.
Thank you. Michael?
On that topic, I'm reasonably familiar with when the Mental Health Commission meets. I don't think they've approved this agreement yet. Their meeting is following ours. And I think they meet because the first Monday in September is Labor Day. I don't know what they're doing. I know the township moved their meeting to the Monday, the 10th. I don't know if the Mental Health Commission is following that track, but I know they haven't had a meeting yet.
Yeah,
to
they were
approve
hoping to get
this.
it on the last one, but timing-wise, we didn't. We
So-
just didn't get there. So
Let's put it this way. Hopefully, we could have implementation as a target date by the first of the year. So let's work toward that goal, and who's ever got to play with it, let's.
we've we've already had some training in the past with our officers, so we should be ready to go sooner than that. But
Let's gear up on that target date. Chief Padlick, anything for the good of the order?
Yes, I'm pleased to report that unexpectedly received in the mail yesterday a check from Walmart Corporation in the amount of $500 to be used in our further education program in Neighborhood Watch and Community Relations. So that was a nice surprise. And I'd like to invite everyone on September 11th, Tuesday at 8:30 at the Memorial Fountain. We will be having a 911 ceremony to remember what happened on September 11th, 2001. Starts at 8:30.
Chief Adams?
Want to remind everybody, or say the date, October 7th, Sunday, October 7th, we're having our fire department open house to kick off Fire Prevention Week. It'll be at our fire station from noon to 3. We'll have the 2-room sprinkler demo, fire extinguisher demo, and different activities and things for kids to do. Also like to announce the upcoming retirement of Captain James Waters. He's leaving us after 26 years. He's retiring on August 31st. His last actual work day will be August 30th, which we are hosting a luncheon for him at the fire station, our training room, from 11:30 to 1:30. All are welcome to join us and celebrate his career.
In the audience, we have Mrs. Waters. So congratulations on your son's retirement. Annie?
As you're aware, the village has been reviewing proposals for commercial banking services. The village manager and I are in the final stages of the selection process for the village's commercial banking services. The successful bidder will be notified in the near future, and we will work out an implementation schedule from there.
Thank you. Gregory?
Yes, as I mentioned at our last meeting, the Emergency Telephone System Board met 2 weeks ago, just prior to the previous board meeting. We are in the process of scheduling another board meeting to officially vote on some of the items and make some of the purchases that we've discussed in the past. Also, when that's finalized, once we have a date settled, we'll get that out. Also, the DEA notified me of the drug take-back program, the nationwide take-back program date that they've put together for September 29th. Again, that's a national take-back day. And they, in the literature that they had provided me, advised that from the past 5 national take-back days, they've collected over 500 tons of pharmaceuticals that they've rid of having to go into the toilet, if you will, and returning back into our drinking water. So they're very proud of that, and I'm very excited to be a part of that program with the DEA. And I mention it every time we get more and more. It's glad that I'm glad that they're putting together another take-back day so we can get rid of some of that stuff.
Yeah, 490 of it is ours, right, Greg?
I'm pretty certain it is.
I think so. Thank you. Dave, you're up.
As Mayor Apulia mentioned earlier, we've begun work at the fuel island replacing the concrete pad. We run into a couple of unforeseen conditions. However, today we poured the concrete. That's going to be curing for the remainder of the week. We're also going to be continuing doing the asphalt patchwork around the perimeter of that pad this week. Hopefully the fuel island will be reopened on Tuesday after Labor Day is our plan. Also, pavement striping has been ongoing. We've completed all of our work around the schools as school started last Thursday. We're now continuing on the main drags in town, working on Canterbury, as a matter of fact, working from Wolf Road easterly. And then after that, we're going to continue working on all the rest of the collector streets in town, refreshing the stop bars and crosswalks throughout town. We're also going to start next week crack filling to try to preserve some of the streets that are still salvageable, to try to preserve the life of those roads. We haven't had any water main leaks since the last board meeting, which has been a good thing.
Oh, it's Dave, you just Sammy us.
Oh, man.
But we have
Frank it
repaired a
right
few
now.
service leaks and have done the restoration for those already. We had no reported flooding as a result of Sunday's 3+ inches of rain, so that's a good thing. I think our preventative maintenance tactics have been paying off.
Yes, and following up on that note, certainly want to thank Wally, and I know Nick had called me. Nick was out, I was out, Wally was out, checking retention ponds and Addison creeks and whatever. Even Michael Hagan was out at one point in time, and I know our staff went out and cleared some debris over by Carlisle and made sure that the pump was working after the level in the reservoir raised to about 9 feet. I think they told me they kicked it on. So, so far so good. So, and I think that's a testament to, you know, the hard work that we've been doing in cleaning out these storm and sanitary sewers. I just wish that we were in a position to get the south side work done, that we've waiting for the IEPA loan to come forward to get that sanitary completely redone, new, and out of the forest preserve, and maybe only one creek crossing instead of having 3 creek crossings. So, but you were going to say something,
And,
Dave.
actually, one more thing that I failed to report was the 50/50 sidewalk program is nearing completion. It should be completed by the end of this week.
Okay. And from everyone's edification, I know there was a couple emails floating on. The contractor is doing this to IDOT specifications, and the way it's brushed and everything is all IDOT. And certainly, I know Hope's been out there measuring. I've been seeing her early in the morning, and I guess we're almost done. They said 3 days, and it's pretty close to 3 days. So it's a good thing as well. Just to remind Dave that we have about 40 squares of our own that we were going to look at trying to do, that we consider trip hazards, that we were going to do in-house to save some costs. And also, you and I had a conversation today about stop signs, and also the analyzing of the stop signs and changing the heads and getting the 30-inch ones up there and doing that in a systematic fashion. And I know we talked today about the lawsuit in the city of Chicago where a child was killed as a result of an accident involving a stop sign, and there was an award against the city of Chicago, and certainly probably the driver that was involved, but the deep pockets being the city. So I want to make sure that all of our stop signs are in good condition, that they have the reflectivity as designed, and that there are no obstructions by any trees or bushes or anything that's going to cause us a problem. So when we're out on the street for code and police and everyone else, that if we see these things that need to be addressed, we address them post haste before they run into a problem. So, thank you. Tony.
Okay, I got some updates here. Papa John's, they are opening up after Labor Day. Had some problems with their pizza oven now, and the guy was a little bit upset about that. Their next door neighbor, ATI Physical Therapy, opened up on August 20th, and they're good to go. 2 updates in regards to the Dunkin' Donuts, one at 1005 South Manheim. We're getting a lot of calls. They are demoing the old wishy-washy, and they do have a permit. And tomorrow morning, the fire marshal's going to be out there to remove the underground storage tanks. Our fire department also is going to witness that, and their building permit is ready to go. The one on 31st and Wolf, still waiting for one of the contractors to come in. Their permit also is ready to go. And Trustee Frank Perry and I are negotiating with a major restaurant also to come in Westbrook Towers. So I'll give you an update as we move forward. That's it.
Okay. Chris, in the engineering for Mark Zesh, anything to add to our meeting, sir?
No. The only thing is Chris River did present the village with a proposal. I guess we really knew that it was going to be on the agenda tonight, and obviously.
And what item was that, sir?
Yeah, the proposal for engineering services for construction engineering and design engineering services from Chris River to the village.
Did we get anything to that?
No, I was not apprised of that.
Okay.
We'll have to address it.
All right. You know what? Resend it off tomorrow, and we'll certainly take a look at it.
Please copy me on that, Chris, and we'll make sure that.
Wally.
I just would like to make a comment. It's great that we have a, restaurant, but I think we should at least check if a trustee has a right to negotiate on behalf of the board, just to double check that to make sure we're following the proper procedures.
Okay, we'll do that as well. Okay. I have nothing this evening. No executive session. Is there a motion, a second to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Tom and Paul?
Yep.
All those in favor of adjourning this evening, say aye.
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 Any opposition, say no. Okay, we stand adjourned.